Welcome to Blogs and Articles. In this series, we look at blog posts, articles online, and news stories about love, marriage, dating, and relationships. I'll provide some coaching questions for exploration, as I would for a client who is in this situation. Then finally, I'll provide my commentary at the end of just me being myself, unfiltered and unadulterated. Hi, I'm Janelle, the relationship coach behind The Successful Invisible. I help professional Black women who are 35 plus date and partner with more self-awareness and intentionality. Check out the links in the description box below to sign up for my next 5-day self-awareness and dating challenge. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So I came across this article, 9 signs you're in a relationship with someone who isn't good for you. Let's get into it. There's a stark difference between being in a relationship with someone who genuinely cares for you and someone who's just not good for you. But when we're in love, we often overlook the warning signs. And even when we do notice, it's tough to admit that the person we're with isn't the best for us. I've done it too, thinking things will get better. But it's important to see these signs for what they are, because like it or not, your partner really impacts your life and happiness. Here are 9 signs that help you recognize if you're in a relationship with someone who isn't good for you. 1. Consistent feelings of insecurity. In a solid, healthy relationship, you generally feel secure and valued. Continuous feelings of insecurity are often a red flag. If you're constantly questioning your worth, your partner's feelings for you, or their fidelity, it's time to pause and reflect. It's natural to have occasional doubts or fears in any relationship, but if these feelings persist and become a pattern, it's probably a sign that something isn't right. We all deserve to feel confident and loved in a relationship. If you're constantly feeling insecure, it might indicate that the relationship isn't beneficial for your emotional well-being. Listen to your intuition and don't dismiss these feelings as mere paranoia. Second sign, you're constantly walking on eggshells. This is something I've personally experienced. I found myself always treading lightly around my partner, constantly worrying about saying or doing something that might upset them. There was this constant fear of triggering an argument or a cold response. I would rephrase any words multiple times before voicing my thoughts, or sometimes choose to say nothing at all. The thing is, a healthy relationship, open and honest communication, or in a healthy relationship, open and honest communication is vital. You should feel comfortable expressing your feelings and thoughts without fearing retaliation or cold treatment. So if you're always walking on eggshells, it's a clear sign that your relationship with someone wrong for you, or you're in a relationship with someone wrong for you. Living in constant fear of your partner's reaction isn't healthy. Relationships should be about mutual respect and understanding, not fear and suppression. Sign number 3, they don't respect your boundaries. Boundaries play an essential role in any relationship. They help individuals maintain their individuality and personal space. However, when you're with someone who's wrong for you, they may ignore or disrespect these boundaries. It's disrespectful if your partner constantly disregards your need for personal space or any other boundary you've set. They essentially ignore your needs and prioritize their own, and that's a toxic trait in a relationship. A healthy relationship involves 2 people who respect each other's boundaries and understand the importance of maintaining individuality even while being together. Sign number 4, your happiness depends on them. Does your mood and happiness rest in your partner? Have they become the center of your universe to the point where your emotional well-being depends entirely on them? If so, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. In a healthy relationship, your partner contributes to your happiness but doesn't define it. A relationship should add to your life, but it shouldn't be the sole source of joy or sorrow. Having other aspects of life that bring you happiness independently of your partner is essential. Sign number 5, you always apologize even when it's not your fault. Just like boundaries, apologies are necessary in a relationship on both sides. If you constantly say sorry for things you didn't do, or even for just expressing your feelings, that's a sign of imbalance. In such situations, it might feel like you're constantly at fault. You might even start doubting your actions and words, thinking you may be the problem. It's time to take a step back and reassess the dynamics of your relationship. It could be a sign that you're in a relationship with someone who isn't good for you. Sign number 6, you feel drained instead of empowered. Love can be a beautiful, empowering force that strengthens and motivates you. You know you're in a relationship with someone bad for you when it feels the opposite. Instead of feeling uplifted, you might feel emotionally and mentally drained. Every interaction feels like taking a piece of you, leaving you depleted. This is not what love is supposed to feel like. Love should make you feel invincible, cherished, and alive. It should make you want to be the best version of yourself, not leave you questioning your self-worth. You deserve someone who fuels your spirit and encourages your growth. Love is about building each other up, not tearing each other down. Sign number 7, you've lost sight of who you are. There was a time when I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back at me. I had changed so much to fit into the relationship that I had lost touch with my true self. When you've started to feel like you're losing yourself, changing your habits, interests, or even values to please your partner, it's a sign that your relationship with someone who isn't good for you. You're in a relationship with someone who isn't good for you. Always remember that the right person will love and accept you for who you are. Number 8, your friends and family express concern. This is sign number 8. Friends and family can often see things more clearly when they're not in the midst of the situation. If the people who know you best and care about you are concerned about your relationship, it's worth considering their opinions. Their concerns might stem from changes they've noticed in you or behaviors they've observed in your partner. While it's true that nobody knows your relationship as well as you do, these concerns should not be dismissed lightly. In a healthy relationship, your loved ones would be happy for you and supportive of your partnership. If instead they're worried or anxious, it's a sign that something might be amiss. Sign number 9, your gut tells you something isn't right. Last but certainly not least, trust your gut. It's often the most accurate and honest indicator of what's happening in your life. If your gut tells you that something is off, there's a good chance it is. Never ignore your instincts. They're an integral part of you, protecting and guiding you. Listen to what they're trying to tell you. Love should uplift you. Relationships in their purest form are about love, respect, and growth. They're about finding someone who compliments you, celebrates your individuality, and cherishes you for who you are. If you find yourself in a relationship that doesn't reflect these values, leaving you feeling drained, insecure, or unrecognizable, it's a sign that something needs to change. True love should make you feel loved, respected, and valued. If you should inspire growth and bring out, it should inspire growth and bring out the best in you. If it doesn't, trust your gut and make the best choices for your emotional well-being. You deserve a love that uplifts you, not brings you down. All right. Moving on to some questions for reflection. These are some coaching questions that I would pose to a client in a similar situation to the article that I just read. Grab a fresh pen and notebook and answer these coaching questions truthfully and fully in order to go deeper on your own personal journey to greater self-awareness when it comes to dating and relationships. Question 1. How can one identify if consistent feelings of insecurity are present in their relationship? Question 2. What does it look like when someone finds themselves constantly walking on eggshells in a relationship? Question 3. What are the indicators that someone's happiness overly depends on their partner? Question 4. In what situations might someone find themselves always apologizing, even when it's not their fault? Question 5. How can someone realize they've lost sight of who they are in a relationship? And I want you to think about this from the perspective of like friendships as well as romantic relationships, because I believe many of us have experienced this in some way from, either type of relationship form, wanting to form it or it being formed. Let's jump into one of my favorite parts of the videos for my blogs and articles series. And that's where I just offer you my thoughts on the article or blog post that I just read. All right, when I was reading through this article the first time, I like the 9 signs that were presented, and I do think they're pretty clear for anyone to start to think about and reflect. But I think the overarching kind of vibe I get is many of the things that are described as signs about, how to know that you're in a relationship with someone that's not the right person for you, honestly sounds like early indicators of abuse. And now, I don't believe all bad relationships are abusive per se, but I do feel that every time we get in a bad relationship, whether it's friendship or romantic relationship, there are components to it that are precursors to some type of abuse. That doesn't mean the entire relationship was abusive. So, for example, if you are trying to change who you are to mold to a new group that you meet. Say this is something that many people have experienced kind of when they're going through puberty, when you're like formative years, you're trying to figure out what you're doing. What can happen depending on the characteristics of the people that you're dealing with if they are prone to abusive tendencies, manipulation, domination, control, things like that. Your willingness to kind of morph yourself into who you think they want you to be will bring that out of them even more. So I feel a lot of these indicators are great markers of self-awareness. Another one that was interesting when they said walking on eggshells. So I see that coming up if a woman leans into this behavior because her partner has demonstrated on several occasions, probably, that they are very emotionally dysregulated. They have a temper, they go off. So there are signs there that are probably precursors, not always, but many times precursors to some type of abuse. I would hope someone will listen to this and hear about these like 9 signs and use it as a self-reflection tool. Immediately put the mirror up to themselves and say, hey, I'm doing this thing. What does this actually mean? What does this look like? And what behavior have I seen in this friendship group that I'm trying to connect with, or this potential partner that I'm trying to connect with, that is causing me to react in this way? And this can be internal. This doesn't mean you're necessarily demonstrating something on the outside, but I think all 9 of these signs are very good self-awareness tools to ask yourself, who am I involving myself with? Whether it's a friendship or a romantic relationship. Who am I involving myself with where I feel I need to change this about myself or do this thing or, what have you? Great indicators, great self-awareness tools. I think all 9 signs are, and they also will help you identify the behaviors being expressed towards you by the other person, whether that's a romantic partner or a friend or friendship group, about, is this person someone I want to be around because I feel I need to change myself for them in some way? I'm not talking about somebody coming in your life and inspiring you to be better. I'm talking about genuinely you not wanting to talk about things, you being afraid to rock the boat, etc. Those are not good indicators for any type of sustainable, healthy, balanced, mutually beneficial relationship. And that's what I personally strive for within my own personal life, but also as a coach working with my clients. So those are just my thoughts. I think all signs are great indicators or pre-indicators of potential abuse within the relationship dynamic or some very negative traits in the person that could be causing it to be like a trigger for you. Thank you for joining me today for this episode of Blogs and Articles. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out the links in the description box below to sign up for my next 5-day self-awareness and dating challenge. Also, check out my podcast, The Successful Invisible, next season publishing soon on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Until next time, this is your coach, Jay Nell. Stay empowered and see you on the next article or blog post.